Hello, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I am knitting a bit of Daggery's cardigan again. I did a bit of my own at the weekend, and I'm going to show you. I actually got the back finished. And as you can see, it is an all over pattern. So that's one little thing. It'll be a lot quicker now when I start doing the sides and the sleeves, because there's not as many stitches and you seem to work faster. If I'd kept on at this when I first started it, I would have finished it a long time ago, but I had that many other things, orders and things to do. I just kept putting it down. But I really enjoyed doing this, but because I was at my granddaughter's yesterday and I did quite a bit while I was sitting in the garden in the lovely weather. And I'm going to show you one or two little things that my grandkids gave me for Mother's Day. It's a good job my grandkids think about me, because my sons never do. I'm lucky if I get a birthday card, never mind a Mother's Day card. But their minds don't think like that. I think because they're not here. They live in different parts. Well, two of them live in different parts of the country, and that it just never crosses their mind, because they don't see me just now and again. But I see my granddaughter a lot, and my grandson. So I'm going to show you what I got from them. That's my cards. My granddaughter and my grandson. The flowers of my granddaughter. The flowers of my grandson. And a new photograph of my granddaughter for my 3 great-grandsons to replace this one. And of my grandson, a lovely little plaque, forever my Nan and always my friend. That's of my grandson David, Cheryl's brother. So I'm lucky to have those 2 lovely grandchildren. So that was from my granddaughter Cheryl and her brother David, who we've always had a good relationship with them ever since they were little. They used to come and stop with us at the weekends, and I'd still see a lot of them. I have other grandchildren as well, but one lives in another part of the country and the other one lives in the northeast area, but a good way away, so I don't see those either. And then the pandemic stopped a lot of visiting anyway. So anyway, I've been in my garden this morning. I was determined I was left with a very large hedge down the back garden that needed trimming, as I had cut all my lawns and I had cut the hedge in the front garden. And I was determined, I was going to do it on Sunday morning before I went down to Cheryl's, but I didn't really fancy doing it, and I thought, well, according to the weather app on my phone, we were supposed to still have nice weather today. But I went out about 10 o'clock and it was starting to cloud. Well, it was cloudy from getting up, but it was sort of getting a bit more cloudy. And I thought, I'm going to nip out, I'm going to do that hedge, because it's a very long hedge. I'm not even sure how long the back garden is. I'll have to measure it sometime. I thought, I'm going to trim that hedge because we're going to get some rotten weather, and even when it's cold the hedge still seems to grow. And I thought I want it done now before it gets too bad, because it starts growing more, it's even harder to cut. I have one of those, they call it a hedge groom, and it's like a lawnmower on your hedge. Instead of like the old type, the other one I've got with the long blade things, that cut everything. I've got one of those as well, but I bought this one because it was the best thing I ever bought. And it's like a lawnmower, and you just put it on the top of your hedge, and you just go backwards and forwards on it like that, and up and down on the sides like that. And it is great, and it cuts. It has a holder thing on where all the leaves go in, and it cuts all of the bits of leaves and twigs that come off the hedge into tiny little bits, just ready for to put straight into the compost bin. That's another reason I like it. Well, I went out this morning and it was sort of clouding over, and I got the hedge trimmer out and got the cable out to plug it into the electricity, and it started feeling a little bit damp, and I thought, it's going to rain, And then I started cutting the hedge. I got it out and I started cutting the hedge, and got a little bit misty. And then I could feel a little bit drizzled. I'm saying, I don't believe this. So I think I must have cut that hedge about the fastest I've ever done it. And I've been cutting that hedge for a lot of years. I put this thing on the top instead of going over like that, like you do, up and down, up and backwards and forwards. I cut that hedge in record time. By the time I'd finished, it was actually raining. Tried to run in with the tools, because you don't want electric tools and that out in the rain, get them out the way. But it's done and it's all tidy. And then I thought, well, I've got nothing else to do now. I'm just going to sit and knit. But before I started on this what I was doing yesterday, I had got up to about 4 rows before I was ready to start the shoulder shaping up here. And I just could not keep my eyes open any longer last night. And I thought, oh, I'll do that in the morning. I'll finish it off in the morning. So this morning, instead of leaving it till next weekend, I thought it was only a few rows. After I'd finished, breakfast tidying up and all that, and then after I'd done the hedge that came in, I sat down and I'm going to do those rows. I'm going to finish this. I want this piece finished. So instead of leaving it till the weekend like I'm supposed to do, I finished this off this morning as well. Because I've been on with this for so long, I just cannot leave it any longer. And then when I finished that, I did it a little bit on daiquiris here, and then had my lunch, and now I've got nothing else to do for the rest of the day and the night. So I'll sit and do some of daiquiris and hopefully get more of this done. But I enjoyed my day at my granddaughter's yesterday. One of the kids' cousins was there with them as well, so there was 4 kids, and my grandson David, he came round and we all had our dinner and that, and me and Craig, that's Cheryl's partner, it was a lovely day. It was lovely and warm, and the kids were all out in the garden playing, and Cheryl and David were out in the garden. David was playing with the kids, and so me and Craig washed up all the dishes. A little bit less work for Cheryl later on. And then we came and sat out. Well, my chair where I had been sitting, Cheryl has those, they're like a kind of cloth stuff that you can fold up, and they just go up in like a bag thing, and she's only got 2 of them left because the other ones got broken. So I had been sitting on one of them, and I left my knitting bag on it, and when I came back out, wasn't little Tommy sitting on it and wouldn't get off it. And I'll keep saying, oh, get off my seat, Tommy, it's my seat. I sat there before, I left my bag on it. I bagged that seat, I left my bag on it. I had to drag him off at the finish, he wouldn't get off it. But they've got bean bags, you know, they're waterproof bean bags, so Cheryl got them to bring them out so they had something to sit on. So I sat on my seat. Well, Cheryl had it was a kind of flower thing that you dig into the, not dig in, you press into the soil and attach the water to it. And it's like a daisy. And when you turn the hose on, it comes up straight and the water shoots out of it. But this one had the flower, the head part on it was going round and round like this on the thing. Well, the kids were playing on it and they were jumping over the water and, you know, dashing about in the water and everything. And when I had been sitting in my seat, after Tommy had been sitting in it, I got up and my pants feel a bit damp. And I suddenly realised, oh, you've been playing in there with the like trunk things on, you know, like them short pants things that they wear for trunks. And his pants were wet and he was sitting on my seat and I sat on it and I think I sat with damp pants for the rest of the day till it was time to go home. But they had those gun things with the bullet things in, they're like soft bullet things, you know, and they were firing them around the garden, and I don't know how many times I got hit with them. Like, I'm saying I was going to go and slap somebody in a minute, they didn't pack it in. But you know, that's kids for you now. When the conversation got on about me and Cheryl were talking about our weight and that, and he said something. Me and Cheryl had just mentioned our weight the other day, and we weigh exactly the same, both of us. And I was looking at Cheryl and I says, Cheryl, I says, you haven't got the same body shape I've got. I says, you must have heavy bones if you're the same weight as me, because I says, I've got a lot more body on me than what you've got. And our partner, Craig, was sitting there. He was sitting next to me on the thing, and he says, you're kidding. He says, I was watching the two of you. He says, the other week when you was both standing at the sink doing the dishes, he says, I was looking at you from behind and you couldn't tell the difference who was who. So you'd imagine somebody was going to get wrong later on, wasn't he? That's the cheek of the younger generation. And that's my little bit for today. Now I'm going to do a little bit more knitting as much as I can. Shouldn't take me too long to do this one for Daggery. It's just a little short sleeve top. But I made a comment on one of the other videos about seeing how boring it was knitting just plain, because that's all this pattern is, it's just plain stocking stitch. And I have mentioned when you do a pattern, it seems to grow faster because you can count the, like say if you've got half a dozen rows in the pattern, you can see, oh, you've done 6 rows there and 6 rows there, and that's the way it seems to grow. But you can't seem to count this when it's just ordinary plain knitting. And Daggery must have seen that video that I did. She sent me an email and she said, you know what you were saying about knitting plain, you can do a little pattern on the front for me if you like. So I'll put you some sort of a little pattern on the front then, Daggery. Maybe it's a little bit lacy pattern up the front on it. But it's just, your imagination makes you think that, because you don't see that pattern growing. All you see is just plain knitting, and it just doesn't seem to, it probably knits just as fast, but it doesn't seem to, because you can't count up the number of pattern rows that you've done. So that's my little bit for today anyway. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all again another time. So bye for now. And you know, before I go, my new phone I'm using, when I make a video, I don't even have to touch it. I have to go up to it like this and touch it. I just sit and say, record video. And it does it. But it won't stop it. I want to tell it to stop and it won't. So I have to get up and go and press it like that to stop it. So that's it. Bye for now.